Hello fellow Sudokans and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku Puzzle. It's Monday the 1st of January 2023. Oh, no. I did it. 2024. This is going to happen. I when I'm writing in dates, I do this all the time in January. It takes me forever to remember to change the year. When I'm manually writing dates, I have to make a huge effort to remember the year's change. This happens to me every year. Sorry about that. This is the 1st of 2024. I hope you enjoyed your New Year's celebrations if you went to any. Fireworks galore. My New Year's Eve was spent looking after my cat and basically the whole night nursing my poor cat who is defecating, and nothing to do with fireworks. Well, the fireworks didn't help, I think. They did get pretty loud at one point. Anyway, so if you've made a New Year's resolution, good luck to you in trying to keep to it. I don't think I've ever made a New Year's resolution in my life. Not a serious one anyway, maybe one for a joke, but I don't think I've ever actually made one because I know how awful I am at keeping promises to myself, so that probably wouldn't work, so I've never bothered. I don't remember it ever bothering. I don't remember anything ever working anyway. So has your life changed now that you've woken up and it's a new year? No, because it's just a day on from yesterday. Of course, these numbers give us some kind of artificiality. People talk about, this year as though, everything that happens in a year is important. Or this decade, and they talk about the 60s, the 70s, but that's an artificial thing. Trends and stuff don't fit neatly within those years. And of course, here in Thailand, we have an entirely different number for our year. Nothing too much to consider there. Nothing much has changed. The world is going on. Except I see was it Denmark? The Queen of Denmark is going to abdicate or something, and has surprised the country. I don't know much about that. And one thing that did surprise me reading this morning's horrible news, as the horribleness just goes on, was that there has been a murder-suicide in the US of a man who killed his 2 children and wife and then killed himself. Horrible event, but even worse than that, I guess, or just as bad as that, I should say, I suppose, is the statistic that happens on average once every 5 days in the US. Every 5 days on average, there is a murder-suicide of a family. God, what a place. Anyway, here we are with our game of Sudoku. Now, if this is your first time ever appearing or visiting this channel, you will be looking at this grid and saying, I think I've seen that before, maybe, or what is Sudoku, and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to explain, because it's a Monday. I know it doesn't feel like a Monday, but it is a Monday. And I'm going to explain the rules of Sudoku. So how do we begin? Well, look, there are 9 squares across here. There are 9 squares across here. And anywhere you look, there are 9 squares across. Now, some of those rows across, we call them rows, some of those rows across have some digits filled in. Here we have a 7, a 6, a 5, and a 4. And here we have nothing. Zilch. But that's okay, because what we plan to do is to fill in every square with a number, lowest number 1, highest number 9, in every row. But of course, we also need to do that in every column. Well, I suppose if you filled in every row, it would also be every column. The key thing to remember is that because there are 9 squares across, 9 squares down, the number can appear only once. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 must appear. One number per square, and the number cannot repeat. And that's the key to the game, is remembering that the number cannot be repeated. Now, we also have these small 3x3 grids here, which are going to help us to find the digits, because again, no number can be repeated within these 9 squares. Now let's use this block that I've highlighted to start the puzzle, because there are 3 empty squares. We've already got 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. We're looking for the other numbers. So do we have digit number 1? Answer, no, we don't. Number 1 must appear in one of these 3 squares. Now let's take them in order. Let's say this square here. Can we have a digit 1 in this square? Now if you look up here, you'll see that we already have a 1 in this column, and therefore 1 cannot reappear in this column. There can't be another 1 anywhere because there's only 9 squares. So this definitely can't be a 1. Let's look at this square here. Can it be a number 1? Can it be a digit number 1? And I think you're ahead of me. You've already spotted this 1 down here, and you say, no, there's a 1 down here. This can't be 1. And so there is only 1 space left. Now this is the key to finding the answer to Sudoku, is if there is only 1 space left, we will fill it in with our certainty. We know that it has to be 1 because there is only 1 space left to go. Now what we're going to do is use the 1 that we just filled in here and say that 1 blocks across this row. Can't be any more 1s. In particular, I'm looking at this block here. We can't have 3 of these 3 squares cannot be 1. And we see this 1 down here, and that's going to block back in this direction here. So these 2 squares can't be 1. And then we've got a 1 down here which blocks up here, and so we know that the 1 must be in that square there because it's the only option left. Right, that's what we're looking for, the only option left. As soon as you see the only option left, we know that's where it goes. I'm going to move on to digit 6. I'm going to look down here. 6 is blocking across here, 6 is blocking across here, and 6 blocking down here. So when I say blocking, what I clearly mean is disallowing the number to be repeated. And again, we've just got 1 empty square, so we know that our 6 fits there. Got the idea now? Okay, now you can go ahead and finish the game by yourself, or alternatively you can watch me fill in some of the other digits in case you're still not quite sure about what to do. We've got 5 blocking across here, we've got 5 blocking across here, and we've got 5 up there. So we are going to fit a 5 into that square there. What else do we have? Now we've only got 2 empty squares in this block. Coming back to this block that we looked at before, when I say block, I mean this small group of 9 squares here. Don't confuse block with block. Block the verb and block the noun, different things, okay? We've only got 2 numbers missing. The missing numbers are 2 and 7. That's what we need to get all of the numbers between 1 and 9. And I hope you've noticed that we have a 7 already in this row. So can this square be 7? Answer, no. 7 goes here and 2 is in that square. Now we're going to use that 2 because 2 blocks across here, 2 blocks up here, and 2 blocks down there. So that's going to be a 2 in that square there. We have 7 blocking across here and 7 blocking across there. So that's going to give us a 7 in that square. We have 9 blocking across this row, which will give us the only option of this square for the 9. And then we need to see which 2 numbers are missing from this block. What we don't yet have are 4 or 8. And hopefully you've spotted this 8 already blocking up there. So we know that that is going to be our 8 and that is going to be our 4. Now there's 1 empty square at the end of this row. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there a 6 anywhere in this row? No, there isn't. And so we know that that's the only missing number. So it has to be a 6, right? It fits there. You could, of course, have just gone 6's block across these 2 rows there, and that leaves this as the only empty square. So you'll find there's often multiple ways to find the same answer. 6 also blocks up here, and 6 blocks up here like this, giving us this 1 choice up there. And now I'm going to say that I know the answer to this. I haven't looked for it yet, but I know I'm going to be able to find this in this square here. How do I know that? Because there are 2 empty squares down here. That means we are limited to those 2 squares containing the 2 numbers that are necessary to finish this column. Now when we find out what those numbers are, and I haven't looked yet, it means there will only be 1 empty square left to complete the column. So whether or not I can find these two numbers in this square and this square in order, I don't know, but I'm for sure I know which two they are, and so I must be able to finish this square here, right? There are other ways to get the same information, but let's just do it like that. So what two digits are missing here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8. So we're missing 7 and 9. Now, okay, supposing I don't know which is which. I do, because I've got a 9 there, but supposing I don't know which is which, 7 and 9 go here. Well, this is going to be 4, isn't it? All right, because we know that that's 7 and 9, and there's only one square left. That's a 4. Now, you could, of course, have said 4 blocks down here, and you could have looked up here to find a similar kind of thing. But anyway, just one idea to get you started. 9 blocks across here. So this is our 9, and then a 7 is the last number that we need to finish this particular block. Block the noun, not block the verb. Now, I could be looking for stuff up here, but it's not going to be very fruitful because we don't have many numbers across that we can help to find what numbers are missing. So I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to look down here and down here and down here where there are more crisscrossing numbers. So let's just see, not many, but some more. Let's see what's missing at the end here. What don't we have? We don't have 2 and we don't have 4 in this row. Okay, so any help on 2 or 4? No, we don't know which is which, so we just leave that for now. And let's see what's missing here. Now we can either look across here and see what's missing, or we could know that this is 2 and 4 and look in this block here. So what's missing? 3 and 8 are missing from this row, and no, again we don't know the answer, so that's no good. Let's come down to this side down here. Let's see what we have. Now there are quite a few numbers missing, so what you might want to do is to click on the, if you're playing on a computer, no, let's do this. Okay, so what I've seen now is never be afraid to change your mind. If you if you watch more videos on this channel, you see I'm always changing my mind. I'm about to do something and I spot something else. Let's look at this row here. There are 3 empty squares, right? What do we have? 1, 2, 3. Any 4? No. Any 5? No. 6, 7. Any 8? No. So 4, 5, and 8 are the numbers that we need to complete this row. Okay? Only 3 squares. 4, 5, and 8 must be there. So let's look at this square here and ask ourselves 4, 5, or 8. Can it be a 4? Yeah, why not? Can it be 5? No, because there's a 5 in this column. Can it be 8? No, no chance, because there's already an 8. So 8 and 5 are already in the same column. So that must be a 4. And we know that the 5 and the 8 are going to be over here now. Now, we've got 8 blocking across here and 8 blocking down here. So that's going to give us an 8 in that square there. What I was going to suggest before I changed my mind was that you can try clicking on the numbers if you're playing on the computer, and most of these computer solvers will highlight the digits for you like that, so you can go around and check which numbers you need in that way. In fact, let's do that now. Let's see how that works out. So we've got 1s now. Use your eyes to kind of, go up and down the columns and see, we can see the 1s blocking across here and across here. It means we're going to have 1s in those squares there because of this one and this one blocking across the rows. But that's not going to help us too much up there. So I think there isn't much to be had there. Let's see, we've got the 2 blocking across here, so we're going to have 2s in those squares there. We've got 2 blocking across here and down there, so we're going to have 2s there. Again, that's not doing much, is it? So let's see about the 3s. And now 3s are in that square there. Now this, okay, that it does mean something. But it won't. Okay, so 2 more advanced players, that will mean something. There's a pair of 2 and 3 there, but that's, I'm not going to worry too much about that yet because this is a beginner's Sudoku game and I want to make sure that you don't get too worried about anything too difficult on a beginner level puzzle. Here we go, 5 blocks across there. As soon as you see the 5 highlighted, see it blocks across there, that will give me the 5 there. Then we can take the 5 going upwards, that 5 we just placed, and a 5 up here and a 5 across there, which will put 5 into that square. We'll keep going. What do we know about the 6s? Yeah, 6s across here, across there, up here and up there. And that is the final 6. What do I mean the final 6? Well, there aren't any more 6s on this grid, because if you look at every row, every column and every one of these blocks, you will find digit 6. So that's it. There aren't any more to be found. Okay, now a good idea to see, if you see 3 empty squares in a straight line like this, a row or a column, it's a good idea to see what's missing. So we got 1, we don't have 2, we don't have 3, and we don't have 7. So we know that these 3 squares comprise 2, 3, and 7. Now if you see 2 of those numbers in together in the same column, like this, 2, 3, like we just did with the 5 and the 8, I think it was over there, wherever it was, 2 and 3, this square here for sure can't be 2, it can't be 3, that's going to be 2 and 3 there. So this is going to be 7, because we need 2, 3 and 7 there. We have 8 blocking across here and up there, so that will be our 8. Now there's only one number left for this column. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 we don't have in this column, so that must be a 7. Now we have 7s blocking up here, and across there, which will give us 7 in that square. We have 9 down here, 9 across there, and 9 across there, which will give us a 9 in that square there. So you might say, oh no, now what? We've gone from 1 to 9, and now we've only got this many digits. But remember, the thing has changed a lot. Now, if actually you start going around 1 to 9 again, you'll find different options now, because we have filled in some of the squares, and so we have reduced our number of options. But let's do easier stuff before that. So here, look, there's 1 empty square here. We don't yet have a 4 in this column, so let's put it in. And now we can see that 4 blocks, that square there, we need a 4 in this block here. So that is going to be a 4. And now there's only one number left for this block or this column, and it's going to be the same number, of course, which is a digit 1. Are there any more? Okay, so I can find this square because I must know what's in these 2 squares here, and that means there can only be 1 empty space. So this is 2 and 3. Okay, if you look down here, 1, we don't have 2 or 3. Now this is a good example. So we don't have 2 or 3. Which is which? I ask you. Oh, not sure, right? At this stage, you look up here, you don't see any 2s and 3s, so you say, well, I'm not sure which is which. But we do know that this is either 2 or 3, and this is either 2 or 3, and that's it. So when we come to this square over here in this row, we know it can't be 2 or 3 because they have to be in those 2 squares there. So what don't we have in this row? We don't have a 1. Okay, so that has got to be a 1. Now we'll take that 1 going up here, and 1 going up here, and then 1 across here and 1 across there. So that will give us the digit 1 there, and that's the final digit 1. Now actually I said to you this is 2 and 3 and we don't know which is which, but actually we do, because if this is 2 and 3, there are only 2 empty squares in this row, and this column, which includes one of those squares, only has 2 empty squares as well. These 2 numbers also have to be 2 or 3, right? So this has got to be 2 or 3, this is 2 or 3, this is 2 or 3, and there are only 2 empty squares, so we know that also has to be 2 or 3. If you don't believe me, you can look up and down the column and find the missing numbers, and you'll find it's 2 or 3. Now in fact, we have a 2 blocking that square there, so we do know that this must be our 2, and our 3 will be in this square and this square here. Now, if any of this is too fast because it's your first time ever playing Sudoku, just go back, rewind, and have a look at that and make sure you understand that, because it's a useful concept, I think. 3 blocks across here, 3 blocks across there, and 3 blocks up there, which will give us the 3 there. We have 3 blocking down here and across there, which means that will be a 3. And now there's only one empty square, which will be an 8 for this row. If you think I'm finding numbers quite fast because you've never played the game before, I promise you I'm not. This is not particularly fast. When you played a few games like this, you'll be finding them much faster than me, I'm sure. Now, there are missing digits, 2 empty squares up here. Missing digits are 2 and 9 for this row, and we have a 9 blocking this square here. So we know that 9 is going to appear in that square there, and this is going to be a 2. Now, we'll take that 2 that we just placed and bring it down here, blocking this square, which means that's a 2. And this is a 4. Right, over here there's a gap. Let's fill it. What goes in there? It's a 2, either for this block or for this column. Same thing. And that's the final digit 2. We now have completed 1, 2, 3, and 6. We're looking for 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 to finish the game. Now, what's the best place to look? Well, I see there are only 2 empty squares in this column. So I think this might be a good place to look. So what don't we have, or what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5 and we don't have 8. Now, are there any 5s or 8s crisscrossing that we can get? And hopefully you've spotted this 5 up here, which means that can't be 5. So this must be 5. And now this is going to be an 8. Now we'll take the 8 blocking down here and 8 across there. And that will give us the 8 in this square. And now there are only two blanks down here, and they will be filled with 4 and 7. Any 4 or 7? Answer, no. So even though we've come this far, you would think, oh, that's going to be easy to fill in. But no, not yet. We've got to look up here and see what's missing. So let's see what numbers can go in these 2 squares across here. We got 1, 2, 3. We don't have 4. And we don't have 5. Now we can do that. We've got the 5 blocking here. So this will be our 5 for this row, and this will be our 4 for this row. And now we can bring the 4 down and say, this is the 4, and the last digit in this block here is 7. 7 comes up to the top and says, you're the 7. Or you could look down here and find the missing number. And now there's only one number to go, which is 9, and that is our easy level puzzle for 1st of January 2024. Finished. Finito. Do me a favor, New Year's resolution, subscribe to the channel. There we are. That would be a nice resolution for me. Ask people to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Take care. Enjoy your year. Bye-bye.